Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. For today's video, as you guys can see, I am in the festive mode. It's December and I know that a lot of you still having holiday Zoom meetings, gatherings. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to do this makeup along with two other looks. One with no glitter, one with a little bit of glitter, and finally this one. Now, they're not very different from each other, but I'm basically building on one look. So the base and everything is going to be the same, but what is changing is what I'm adding to the eyes. So if you're excited about this video, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you're notified every single time I post. And now, without further ado, let's get started. I'm gonna start by rolling my face. You want your makeup to last a very long time. You want it to look very nice on pictures. So I do recommend you taking your time. But in case you're in a time crunch, you can definitely just skip the steps. Normally, makeup artists like to do face masks on their clients. They either exfoliate and then they do a nourishing mask because normally those kinds of masks tend to plump the skin. This roll, it's by Kinch. I got it in one of my BoxyCharm boxes, and I normally just keep it in the freezer, and I just like to roll it in my face to kind of get rid of any puffiness or any extra fluids that I might have in my skin. I'm not gonna talk a lot about the products. Mainly, I just want to show you how is it that I do my makeup, but I am gonna leave all the details in the description box as well as some timestamps. So I'm gonna start with this Huda Beauty primer. This is a moisturizing makeup base. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna apply a tiny bit. I'm gonna rub it all over the skin. Now, since this is more of a moisturizing makeup base, I do have combination skin, so I'm just keeping it on the very sides of my face. I'm not applying too much on this center area because I tend to get very oily on those parts. And now for the pore area, I'm going to be using this one by Makeup Revolution, and this is a PoreBlur primer, and this is mainly to just blur out the pores. So I'm just going to apply a little bit, and I'm going to apply it all over my T-zone and this area is right here. And as you guys could see, it blurred out the pores and it left everything very nice and smooth. Sometimes I like to bring it up in my forehead and a little bit on my chin. So now for foundation, you could obviously use whatever foundation you have on hand. You don't have to use the exact same one. But for me, for special occasions, and especially if I'm going to be taking photographs, I prefer more a high coverage foundation just because it helps my skin look more even and it looks just a little bit more put together. But feel free to use whatever foundation you decide. I'm going to be using this one by Shiseido. This is the Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. Now this foundation has a SPF 30, but I have not noticed that it has any flashback or it gives me any white cast. Now this foundation, it's a little bit lighter than my skin tone, so I am gonna bring it down my neck quite far. But if this foundation is obviously your correct match, there's no need to do it. Just make sure that you do blend the edges quite nicely because the flash, the ants going live on Facebook will catch pretty much everything. So just make sure that you are nice and blended, and that's another reason why you need to take your time when you're doing your makeup for holidays or whatnot, because you don't want to be that person in those photos. Okay, so I'm gonna be blending this Makeup Forever concealer all over my eye. I like this Makeup Forever concealer because it has very high coverage. As you guys can see, it gives you a very velvety finish, but the color is a little too dark with this foundation. And then I'm gonna go with my McGRATH concealer, which is just a tiny bit lighter just to kind of highlight my skin. Okay, so now for contour, I'm going to be using my Hollywood Contour 1 from Charlotte Tilbury. The reason why I like this contour is because one, I really like the color. Two, it's so easy to work with. So I like to contour a little bit higher than where my bones would normally go down, and the reason why is because I like to have more of a lift effect. When you contour and you do it too low, it can give your face a not so pretty effect. So what I like to do is just contour just a little bit higher than what my cheekbone naturally is. So I'm gonna apply a little bit more, and as you guys could see, I'm not bringing it too far down. I want it to stay a little bit more higher. I do have more of an oval shape face, so if I bring it down too far, it tends to drag my face, and personally don't like that effect. It makes me look very tired. As you guys could see, my skin is contoured, but it's not super exaggerated. So now I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Once I've contoured my skin, if you just wanted to apply that, as you guys can see, it looks very, very pretty. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the brush that I used to apply the contour, and I'm just gonna use whatever I have left in the bridge of my nose. Now you don't want to apply too much, because this is one of those steps that is very, very obvious if you don't blend it properly, and it can look very, very fake. So you have to make sure that you take your time and you apply little by little. You don't want to apply a lot of product, because you would end up with streak lines, and they're very obvious, especially on photographs. If you don't blend them properly, the flash would emphasize pretty much everything. So just make sure that you take your time, you blend them, and you go little by little. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look straightforward, and I'm just gonna go from here and down my nose, and that's just the way I personally like to contour my nose. Whatever face shape you have, obviously you will contour differently, but this is the way that I personally like to do it, and I feel like it looks the most natural. As you guys can see, you can definitely tell how my nose looks a little bit more sharp, but once I turn sideways, you can't tell that I have product. So just make sure that if you're gonna do this step, you go little by little and you blend everything. Okay, and once your face is contoured and you're happy with whatever finish you have, I'm gonna start by setting the under eye. And the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back with this sponge to get rid of any of the creases. And for setting powder, I'm going to use my favorite one by Benefit. This is the Boing Under Eye Setting Powder. And for the rest of the face, I'm going to use my Beauty Bakery Flower Setting Powder. Once you set the face, I'm going to start by bronzing. And I'm going to use this TooFaced palette. This is the TooFaced Cocoa Contoured, and I'm gonna go with the color medium and deep. So I'm just gonna mix the two, and the reason why I like mixing these two colors is because the medium is a little more cool tone and the deep is a little bit more warm. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go on top of the cream contour just to kind of blend everything together, and as you guys can see, it starts giving you this beautiful effect. The face looks a little bit more sculptured, a little bit more snatched. That's one of the reasons why I really love the effect of contouring, because it makes your face look a lot slimmer than what it is, at least in my case. Same thing with my jawline. And just remember that whenever you're gonna do this, please take your time and blend everything, because trust me, it has happened to me. Even when I'm recording videos, sometimes I go like this and I can see where it didn't blend. So now to clean the contour, you could definitely use your sponge and a little bit of setting powder, or if you have a contouring palette, you can just use any of these shades just to kind of clean up the area. So I'm just applying a very little amount, and just to make sure that this is nice and brighten, and then you can go back and blend again with your bronzer brush. Just don't apply any more product. As you guys could see, it looks like I cleaned it up, but it's not extremely obvious. I'm just looking for a little bit of dimension. So now I'm gonna do my eyebrows, and for my eyebrows I'm not gonna do anything different. I actually have a tutorial on how I do my eyebrows. I'll link it up here and also on the description box. So let me just put them on and I'll be right back. Brows are on. Now for the eyes, I'm gonna do a few different looks, and I'm gonna be using this new palette by Nabla. This is the side by side Nude palette. This is what it looks like in the inside, but I'll show you guys what it looks like under direct sunlight. As for eye primer, I'm going to be using this one by Fenty. This is the Pro Filt'r Amplifying Eye Primer. I have a full review on the Fenty line. It's a full face of Fenty, as well as I did a review on the foundation, so I'll leave those videos linked on the description box. I normally just like to apply it and I blend it with my brush. If you are the type of person that just like to go with concealer, you could definitely do that. So now for the first look, we're gonna do something very classy. I personally like this look for any special occasion, not necessarily just the holidays, but I think doing a very nice sharp cut eye with a really nice red lip color, it looks amazing. For me, it's one of those go-to looks when I have to go somewhere and I don't have a lot of time. Personally, I feel that it looks very classy, it looks very elegant, and I feel that it goes with just any outfit. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna start with this color right here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by patting that on top of the eye primer. I like to set my eye primer. You don't have to for the eye look that we're going for. I just feel like it looks the most natural and it helps the eyeliner last just a little bit longer. For the crease, I'm going to be using the color Beauty Mark. You definitely don't have to use a palette for this look. I think that if you just use your regular setting powder and use the bronzer that you use for your cheekbones, you use it on your crease, that also looks really nice and it looks very, very natural. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a tiny bit with the same brush and I'm just working on the crease, kind of like blending it together with the nose contoured. And I don't want to apply a lot of product. As you guys can see, I'm just using the tiniest amount. I just want to give my eye a little bit of dimension, but I don't want to apply too much. So now we're gonna take a little bit of this color right here called Halftime, and we're gonna blend a little bit more. This is more of a kind of like a khaki color, but I'm just using that to blend that first shade just a little bit more. I'm gonna grab this little brush. This one is by Nabla. This is the Nabla in 102, and this is what it looks like. And I'm gonna go with the color Untitled. The reason why I'm using an eyeshadow instead of an actual eyeliner is because the eyeshadow tends to give you a little bit more room to be able to blend it and make sure that it looks nice and sharp, whereas with the liquid liner, if you go too far, it's very hard to fix and it's a little more tedious, at least for me. So I prefer to use something like this because it's a little bit easier to control. And another thing to have in mind is your eye shape. So I have more of a hooded eye shape, so for me the eyeliner tends to be a little bit more tricky because it's not gonna look the same as it would look on someone that doesn't have a hooded lid. So I'm gonna show you how is it that I personally do my eyeline for my hooded eyes. So I like to look straight forward. You want to relax your eyes and then just start stamping it following your natural eye shape. For me, it's a little bit different than it would be for some of you that don't have a hooded eyelid. So when I close my eye, it looks just like I have a little bit of a wing, but not much. So you could definitely just leave it at that. Apply some false lashes and mascara, or you could continue to line the rest of your eye. You want to make sure that you stay as close as you can to your eyelid. For the inner corner, you're gonna use the exact same brush, and what you're gonna do is the same thing. You're gonna look straight forward, you're gonna relax your eye, and you're simply following your natural lash line. You don't want to go too far out or too far down. As you guys can see, that helps the eye look a lot more lifted. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other eye. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this eyeliner. This one is by Rimmel and this is in the color 05 Nude. I'm just going to line my waterline And what this is going to do is gonna open up the eye even more, and it's gonna help you clean out any of that dark shadow that might have fallen. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply a little bit of mascara. I'm gonna be using the Ilia mascara, the little mini size that I have. I actually did a review on the Ilia foundation as well as some of these products. For highlight and blush, I'm going to be using the Scott Bourne's blush palette, and I'm going to go with this color right here, and that one is Showy. This palette is actually so nice, so good. If you're able to get your hands on any of Scott Bourne's products, I would definitely recommend them. They are to the next level. So I'm just gonna apply a tiny bit of this, and I'm gonna run it down my cheekbones, my nose. I apply a little bit of blush from the same palette. I'm just gonna blend it in the apples of my cheeks. For this look, you could definitely apply some lashes, especially at the end. For today, since I'm gonna show you a few other looks, I'm not gonna apply them just yet, but you could definitely do so. I'm gonna grab a pencil brush, and I'm gonna apply a little bit of this color Ray of Light, and I'm gonna apply that in my inner corner and a little bit under my brow bone, just to add a little bit more of highlight. For the lips, as you guys can see, my lips are very pigmented. So the first thing I'm gonna do is grab a lip liner. I'm gonna be using this one by MAC in the color Brick. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by lining my lips. So once I've lined my lips, I'm gonna go with this L'Oreal matte lip crayon in the shade 506 Caramel Rebel, and this is what it looks like. So I'm just gonna go, this one is more of an orangey red, and then I'm gonna grab a clean brush, and I'm just gonna go over the edges just to make sure that everything is nice and clean and sharpened. The other option for this look would be going with the darker lip color. So I'm not gonna take anything off. I'm just gonna add a little bit of this, and this is what it would look like with the deeper red color. Another option for this exact same look, if you wanted to go a little bit more sparkly, we're gonna be using Nabla Ruby Light Glitter Palette. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little bit of one of these colors and just apply it to the center of the lid. I think I'm gonna go with the color Capricorn. I don't know if you guys could see it, but this one has more of a reddish greenish tone, so it goes perfect for Christmas. You just have to be careful with this glitter because it is more on the chunky side, but other than that, I think it looks so pretty. I'm gonna apply just a little bit more. I'm just gonna grab a small brush like this, and I'm gonna try to apply a little bit more to be a tiny bit more precise. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this color right here called Burnt Sienna, and I'm just gonna apply it right on the crease, and that's just to make my crease just a tiny bit dark. And then I'm gonna go with a fluffier brush just to blend everything nice and smooth. I have a little bit of glitter on this side. What you could do is you can grab a little bit of tape and try to pick some of that up, or you could use the back of your spoolie and kind of just make sure that the spoolie is clean, but you kind of very gently brush them out. I'm just gonna go back with my powder brush and kind of clean that up a little bit, and there you have it. This is the third one, just a little bit darker with a lot of glitter. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. For me, I think it's this last one. That glitter just brought me to life. I I personally really do enjoy glitter on the lids. You just do have to be careful. Like I said, this glitter is a little bit chunkier, so just be careful when you apply it in your eye. But other than that, let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.